Good morning. This is Pierre Laguerre here, your daily motivator, always here to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. So today on episode 500, this is a major milestone, episode 500, and I'm going to share with you when I started this podcast about 4 years ago, I did not yet see episode 500 except in my vision. So again, I want to encourage you today to stay the course. My greatest lesson that I've learned in 500 episodes is very simply this: stay the course, because you're going somewhere, and in staying the course, you also are about to inspire other folks to keep going. So if you'll stick with me here today, in short, I'm going to tell you 5 ways for you to stay the course, whatever it is that you're doing. Again, in life, everything you start, you must see the end from the beginning. And of course, along with the end, you must recognize the major milestones. And at times you have to celebrate, stop and celebrate for a moment. And so for me, I want to tell you today, I am totally celebrating that I can put out episode 500 and that I can put out something of value to you. I remember the first few episodes, they were very short, about 2.5 minutes each. And there was barely any real entry song because at the time, I was focused on doing 2 podcasts, one called The Spiritual Entrepreneur and the other called The Daily Motivator. The Spiritual Entrepreneur was a podcast where I was interviewing folks, but eventually I changed all that. And nowadays I'm actually interviewing folks on this podcast as well. So stay the course. What are 5 ways that you can use in your life to stay the course? Stick to the vision, stick to the path. Number 1, this one is very important. You have to have a vision of where you want to go. And this is really key because when you lack vision, ultimately you are going to depart from whatever things that you're doing because you don't have a vision of where you want to go. For example, if you got in your car right now and just started driving, that would not be good because ultimately you could just see a sign on the street and you're like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'd like to go eat something now. Or maybe I want to go to a park now. Or maybe I want to go see my relative, one of my relatives. You need to have a vision of where you want to go. When you set a vision, you have vision. Now you can set goals in that vision. So that's number 1. So I could tell you out of that vision, you are, number 2, gonna need to develop some goals. You're gonna have to write some goals. You see, your vision is the grand picture. It's the big picture. But along the way to that vision, there are goals you want to achieve. For example, you may say, you know what? I want to live a healthier life. And the vision may be at 70, I'm still running. At 70, I'm still doing half marathons, and triathlons. That may be the vision. But there are some goals you have to set. Let's say right now you're 20 pounds overweight. Well, maybe one of the goals is, you know what? I want to reduce the weight so that my knees can sustain this particular vision, so that when I get to 70, I'm not necessarily doing a knee exchange or a hip exchange because I don't want to carry as much weight on my body. So that's one thing, for example, you could set as a goal. So once you have vision, number 1, number 2, you need to start developing some goals. And these goals are important because all they're going to do is help to sustain the vision. They're going to be what give the vision feet to run. Okay? And of course, you better write the vision. So that's a given. That's number 1, write the vision. Number 2, you need to start developing some goals. Now, for me, when it came to doing 500 podcasts, there was something I had to absolutely find out. When am I my most productive? And that's number 3. If you want to stay the course, you must know when your most productive time of the day is. If you don't know that, you're going to end up doing menial tasks when you're at your most productive and therefore wasting your most important time. You see, you need to leverage your most important time. And for me, I want to give you the best when I'm at my best. I don't want to give you the best of the rest. That does not make sense, right? Because if I want to give you something of value that I know you can take on and be inspired, be motivated, be challenged to go throughout your day, I want to leave you with something to think about throughout the day. Something that's going to make you say, wait a minute, it's my time. Something that's going to make you say, my time here on earth is short, even if I live to be 100 years plus. Because in the grand scheme of eternity, that's nothing. That's but a vapor. So I need to do something that has impact. And that's always my key question. What kind of impact are you having? Who's having the most impact on you? Who's influencing you? And what kind of impact are you having? So coming back to the question, when am I the most productive? When are you the most productive during the day? You need to find that time. For me, I found out immediately it was early morning. See, I'm an early riser. I'll be up a lot of times 3, 4 in the morning. But I'm not making any boast about it. All I'm saying to you is my body gets to sleep. I sleep and I wake up. I'm not tired and I simply go to work. I'll go and do my prayer time, write, journal, exercise, do all these different things. And I'm coming to the key here. But the key, frankly, is this. If you're going to be giving people content, right, you need to have a place where you yourself are consuming good content. That's number 4. I knew that I needed to be listening to other podcasters. And I had to be selective because I'm not just going to allow any junk to come in my ears. Just because somebody has a podcast does not mean you need to be listening to it, right? Just like a radio station. These podcasts nowadays are replacing radio stations because then people have the opportunity to listen to what they choose, just like XM Radio and others. And matter of fact, now Apple Podcasts are in your car as well. You've been seeing it if you've rented some cars or if you bought a car that has those features. So it tells you something about selective listening that we can all do now and further into the future. So I knew I had to find the right type of content to consume. I'm a heavy reader. I probably easily read more than 3 books every month. And I'm constantly reading. I'm constantly reading more and more. And of course, as I've said in prior podcast episodes, leaders are readers. I didn't coin that phrase, but it is true. If you want to lead, you need to be aware. You need to be gathering wisdom and understanding, knowledge, right? You need to be always learning and coming to understand why things work the way they work, right? And so if you want to lead others, the reason you need to be learning is because you need to understand where exactly do you need to place other people on your team so that you can grow the team, especially as an entrepreneur. So now let's go to number 5. And I alluded to it already in number 3 when I talked about your most productive time. Number 5, you must have a routine. A routine for what? A routine that's going to help you to succeed. At times, I've done 100 days in a row of my podcast and more. And you know what? And I did that this year also very recently. One of my buddies was like, come on, man, don't quit doing the podcast. Keep going. And I knew that, okay, if I'm going to keep going, I need to just make a big move. I need to develop some momentum. And of course, staying the course, this is what happens. When you have a routine, ultimately momentum will come. Let me repeat that. When you have a routine, ultimately momentum will come. But if you have no routine, it's going to be tough for you to get into momentum. Momentum is that place where you're enjoying the course, you're enjoying the way so well that you just keep producing nonstop. And you want to get to that place. We don't always get to that place as content producers, as writers, as authors, speakers, right? But you know when you get into that zone, that's what it is. It's the zone. You've seen it with the Michael Jordans of the world, the Tiger Woods, all these great players, the Babe Ruths. They get in the zone, and in the zone, they don't stop. They just keep hitting it, and they just keep going. It seems like they cannot miss any shot. Whatever happens, they're doing that home run. They're getting it. So my point to you is when I got to do 100 straight podcasts, oh my gosh, I got in the zone, and I put out some great content. So my point to you today is this. If you want to stay the course, number 1, you have to have a vision of where you want to go. Write the vision. Number 2, you're going to need to develop a list of goals to sustain the vision, to support the vision, to reach the vision. Number 3, you need to know your most productive time of the day. Number 4, you need to be consuming good content. You need to be a constant learner so that you can put out good stuff to other people. Number 5, you need to develop a great routine. And I've got a great gift for you today, because for me, it's really about giving. Because I know when I give, it comes back. I know that without a doubt. You've got to put things out for more things to come back to you. That's just the nature. That's the spiritual principle, by the way. Give and it shall be given to you. So now, my gift to you today is the Successful Entrepreneur's Morning Routine, because as I shared with you, this morning routine is what's helping me, even as I'm now running my house with 3 children, that I love. And before I started this podcast, I've already done vegan pancakes for them. They're happy. They're getting ready now to go to church with me. But guess what? Because I have a routine, everything falls into place. And I'm not rushing per se, as much as I'm just doing what I need to do, because I've got a schedule for what I need to do. And I've been up since before 4 a.m. this morning. And now recording this podcast for you, putting it out there, wanting to help you to always challenge, inspire, and motivate you. So again, go to eonthemove.com/morning-routine. That's morning routine with a dash in between. eonthemove.com/morning-routine. And there, you will get your free copy of the Successful Entrepreneur's Morning Routine. Now, notice how long this episode went compared to the first few days. You see, it is worth continuing along the way. It is worth staying the course, because one day you may only have enough to speak for 2 minutes, but as you develop yourself, as you grow and develop in your gift, eventually you will find out that thoughts just flow. Of course, I did write my thoughts on paper so that they could be very coherent and I could deliver something powerful to you. So if this is, of course, sounding good to you and you're interested in starting your own podcast, just go ahead and let me know. You can leave me a comment on the page here for eonthemove.com/podcast 500. There's a place to put a comment on the page. Go ahead and do it, and I will gladly follow up with you. Again, this is Pierre Laguerre, your daily motivator. 500 is nothing but a milestone. We got miles to go, as one of my friends would sing in one of his songs. So with that said, I will catch you on the next episode. Have a great day.